this thing on?
Hello everybody, and welcome back to my channel. If any of you saw my first video, you will know that this is a channel dedicated to book reviews, books I'm reading, and everything that comes along with it. Also, if you saw my last video, you would know that I read Percy Jackson, The Chalice of the Gods, and gave it a review. I really enjoyed it, and at the end of that video, I talked about the two books I was reading. One being The Shining by Stephen King, which this video is about, and the other being the Declaration of Independence, which I am still working on, and it is slow coming. But anyways, to get right into the review, I finished The Shining by Stephen King. Obviously, immensely popular book, very popular movie, the adaptation by Stanley Kubrick, which many have seen, and that was actually my first introduction to the book. Was the adaptation, which I wasn't a huge fan of personally. I think I was maybe a little too young to appreciate it. Ended up falling asleep in the middle, which is something that usually does not happen to me during movies. I don't fall asleep all that often, so I wasn't really sure what to expect. But I had heard that it was quite different than the movie. But I was glad that I watched the movie first. Just I liked Jack being Jack Nicholas. I really liked kind of envisioning him as Jack Torrance from the book. So I think watching the movie in the first place gave me a good introduction to the story. So getting right into it. First off, I enjoyed this immensely. I've been on a bit of a Stephen King kick. It all started off with The Green Mile right here. This is the first Stephen King book I read. Read it probably about a year ago, maybe a little longer. I enjoyed it a lot, and then I didn't revisit any King until fairly recently. What I did is I listened to the audiobook version of 11/22/63, and that book was amazing. I was a huge fan. Not really what I expected as Stephen King, because when I think of Stephen King, I think of horror, King of Horror, so I was expecting something scary. But if you don't know, it's about time traveling and trying to prevent the assassination of JFK, which was a super cool plot line. I loved the characters. I loved all the subplots, all the sub characters. I was a huge fan. So after that, I was curious what other Stephen King. So following that, I read Pet Sematary, which is obviously another really popular book by Stephen King. There's a movie adaptation. I think there's two. I haven't seen either of them. I'll definitely be checking those out soon. But I was a huge fan of Pet Sematary. And then I've had The Shining here sitting on my shelf for a while. I don't remember when I got it, why I got it, but it's been sitting here forever. So I finally decided to get around to it, and I'm really glad I did. Most of you, or I don't know if how many people know the story, but it's about Jack Torrance is the main character, and his family, Wendy, and Danny is the kid, and Danny the kid has this ability to kind of read minds, see the future, and they call it the Shine. He learns that from he gets the name the Shine from the cook at the Overlook, the hotel, which Jack is a caregiver. So he kind of is in charge of watching the hotel during the winter when it gets all snowy and snowed in. The hotel is up in the mountains in Colorado, up in the Rockies, so they're snowed in, and it's an old hotel, and there's all sorts of kind of paranormal activity going on at the hotel. And Danny, the kid, since he has the Shine, he's kind of the key that brings the hotel to life. And so throughout the book, we slowly get exposed to more and more kind of supernatural activity. Like the hedges. If you know anything about the book, I don't want to spoil too much. There's the hedges kind of come to life. There's kind of different ghosts from the hotel's past that come to life, and the hotel, the Overlook, it wants Danny. It wants to, because it lives off of Danny's shine. So it kind of brings it to life. So it uses Jack, the dad, kind of drives him crazy in order to keep Danny there. It pushes pushes Jack to go crazy and pursue murdering his wife and kid, I should say. It was kind of a slow burn. A lot of the first half of the book was kind of the backstory of Jack, how he ended up in the position. He's an aspiring writer and former English teacher who gets in trouble for beating up a student. Kind of runs out of options. Former alcoholic, which also plays a big role in the plot of the book. Kind of drives him towards insanity. Overall, I really enjoyed this one. It makes me excited to read more King, since I've only read a couple of them. I have It right here, which obviously is one of his most popular ones because of the adaptation. I mean, this is a behemoth of a book, so I'll get around to this one soon. But it makes me really excited. There's more. I'd love to read The Stand at some point. Misery. There's all sorts of great King books that I've kind of been looking up and looking about, so I'm excited. But The Shining, probably give it a 4.2 out of 5. Huge fan. You just got to stick with it and stick through some of the kind of the slow burn, and then the second half is just gets crazy. I was more scared reading this than The Green Mile or Pet Sematary. I've heard Stephen King say he thinks Pet Sematary is his most scary book. I found this more scary. I thought Jack going crazy and trying to kill his family was pretty scary, and some of the supernatural, elements and interactions I found to be a little more scary than in Pet Sematary. So if you haven't read this, but you like the movie, or you're just curious on reading this and you haven't decided to do it yet, highly recommend. Huge fan of this one, so I'm really glad I finally got around to reading it. What I have coming up that I started after I finished the Shining is The Walking Dead, the 4th compendium. You can see I have 2 and 3 right here. I don't own the first one. I borrowed it. That's how I first got into the series. But I'm excited. This is the last portion of the last fourth of the series. If any of you don't know, it's all a black and white comic, which at first I was kind of iffy on when I first started reading the first compendium, but it's really grown on me, and I think it really adds a lot to the story and to kind of like the zombie aspect. I hope to finish this in the near future. It's pretty thick, so it'll take me a little bit to get through. But this will be my next book review. So if any of you are interested in comics or graphic novels or The Walking Dead, stay tuned for that. But so far, probably my favorite comic series that I've read. I don't have a ton of comic series under my belt. I've read The Boys, which I was a fan of. I read Invincible, also by Robert Kirkman. So he's a great writer. I was a huge fan of Invincible. I have the Injustice series right here that I've been meaning to get around to, that I will eventually. Stay tuned for this. This is my next. This will be my next review. Thanks for watching, and again, I highly recommend Stephen King, The Shining, classic, obviously. So if you are on the fence about it, definitely pick it up and read it. It's a great choice, and I will catch you guys next time. Thanks for watching.
Now when I walk in